Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Oddworld Munch's Oddysee. Today we'll be tackling the Mudokon Fortress level. A fairly big level that is, at the same time, one of my favorites.
Security forces. Only one lone Mudokon Fortress still resists. Help the Mudokons to expel the Sligs, then get your butt over to the Slog Hut.
So, Shaman is pretty explanatory on what we have to do. We just have to get to the next Slog Hut and beat up some Sligs on the way. On the way, we're gonna have to revive nature, so to speak. You may notice that this outdoor stage is a bit different than the other ones we've been through so far. Trees are dead, the sky is a bit brown and arid. We're gonna have to, fix that. Now, up ahead is a group of Sligs. We can try to possess them, but we're not allowed to. Because the Sligs are protected by a depossession orb, which makes a return from the 2D Oddworld games. Basically, they hover around enemies and protect them from possession. Either they zap the possession orb into oblivion, or they'll zap Abe as soon as he starts chanting. Zapping doesn't hurt Abe, but it stops him from possessing any enemies, so they're annoying, and there's no way to destroy them, unlike the 2D games. So I don't think 4 natives are going to be enough to fight 4 Sligs at once, so over here are a couple of Fuzzles, and I underestimate their range of noticing an enemy. This Slig always gave me trouble. And with the combined efforts of Sligs, Fuzzles, and 4 Mudokons, I think we have a better chance of fighting these Sligs over here with less casualties. Hopefully casualties only being on the Mudokon side. This is about as complicated as the RTS portions of the game will get. As a matter of fact, I don't really think you ever have to attack a group of enemies with Fuzzles and Mudokons at the same time. And no Fuzzle died. 1 native kicked the bucket, but we can always revive him, so that's no big deal. To complement the depossession orbs are also the, I don't know what you would call them, just the anti-enemy orbs that are flying around. They have like these little purple dots in the middle and they look pretty natural. And they basically just zap any enemies that come within their vicinity. They don't kill anyone, they just teleport them back to the enemy's original spawning point. Those things right there. I never really see them put to use, because I just get rid of the enemies before they see me, but it's worth pointing out. And I'm dumb and almost went in there, but forgot that there are 2 more Mudokons we have to get, and we need every Mudokon that we can get in this level for later reasons. Now, you don't have to do it this way, but for me, the Mudokon Fortress level involves a lot of possession. And while I could have just attacked, I guess, the Sligs with natives, I think this is just a safer way to do it. Even if you can revive them, I'm pretty spooce efficient, and it would take longer to farm for 10 spooce every time I wanted to revive a Mudokon rather than spend 8 to kill these 3, excuse me. Now these Sligs were guarding 2 Tomahawkers. The middle cage is always empty, I don't know why. And I decided to show off that if you hit any native Mudokon as a Slig, they start wailing on you. Beat you till you die. I guess you can fight back, but why would you?
There's my buddy. Hey, Abe. How you doing? Hey, Abe.
And with all the Mudokons we can get at this moment, we can finally visit the Mudokon Fortress. That big place right there. It's not much, really, but if it's the last line of defense, I guess the Mudokons can use all that they have. Yeah. Not much of a fortress, really.
Hey, what's happening? Hello.
Hey, in case you didn't notice, the door to the fort is stuck open. The Mudokons here need your help to close it. You close that door, and the Tomahawk of God here, he'll join you. See ya.
So this is why we needed those tomahawkers and all the native Mudokons we have now, is to close this one fort door. I don't know why the tomahawker would ignore us until we close it, considering it's Abe. But that's how the game works, mechanics. We're gonna need that tomahawker later on too. Yep, there he goes, going yeah. That means he's ready to fight. Not gonna get him until a bit later though.
I'll be back. Don't you worry.
Over here are a couple of sligs guarding what seems to be a very interesting structure. Can't say what it is yet, but I do know that we have to get rid of all the sligs guarding it. I really can't wait till we can start using guns, because then the fights get a lot more interesting. Until then, it's just a bunch of pissy slap fights, which I guess aren't that entertaining to watch, which is why I cut them out at some points. In retrospect, I could have had the position orb stand on the pressure pad, which would have counted and the door would have opened. But, whatever, doesn't matter now. Besides, I cut out the next possession and made this slig run off a cliff, efficiently eradicating all of the defenses that this native structure has. Now, this probably isn't the right way to do it, but I'm dumb and I'm stubborn, so it's how I do it. Basically, I take these Mudokons one by one, carry them across the bridge and throw them off. You can probably do it a different way that's a lot faster, like, I don't know, utilizing wells or the pressure pads or something, but ever since I played the game, like when I was young, that's how I did this. I would like to have the Mudokons just all follow me at once across the bridge, but I'm really paranoid about them falling off. It probably wouldn't happen, because the Mudokon AI, like for, I don't know, general walking around is pretty good, but I just don't trust it. Luckily, with the power of Edgy, we only have one Tomahawker left to throw down, and we can finally do some nature reviving. As you can see, this thing requires several Mudokons to work, around, I would say around 8 or so. And it's called the Storm Circle. This is a neat little game mechanic that's really only used twice. But it works, and for natural progression it makes sense, you know, taking care of the industrials and taking care of pollution and all that. And unfortunately, it's one of the only real native structures that are actually used in the game. There are a lot more planned. Anyway, we're missing one Mudokon, and that's the Tomahawker that was patrolling the fort. We're not going to go that way because there's sligs covering it. There's a depossession orb.
Corporate bastiches have drained this lake, driving out the Mudokon natives who lived here and destroying the wildlife. Restore these lands to their former glory and knock out the slog hut.
Where's that Tomahawker? There he is, see? Just standing around doing nothing. And over there, off in the distance, is where a whole bunch of sligs are. We're gonna have to take care of that after this. Till then, enjoy this nice little cutscene with the Storm Circle. Storm Circle. Yeah, Storm Circle. Keep thinking of Zaphangs from the first level.
Okay, little elbow grease, guys.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Level looks a lot nicer now, don't you think? No. Blue skies and everything, all that. You may notice that some water's risen in some area, and that's an indication that we need to use Munch now, who we haven't been really using much of, despite his name being the main title of the game. We're gonna finally take care of these sligs here, just to get them off our back. Oh, there isn't a deep possession mode. I thought there was. Doesn't matter. Again, I would like to use the wheelchair to have Munch move around faster, but then the Fuzzles would lose track of him, and I would lose him eventually, and that'd be much more of a hassle than it needs to be. Fuzzles. More bad than they are good. Now we're gonna have them stay here for now, because if we have puzzles going up across this bridge, it'd be pretty much suicide for them. Yep. Luckily, those popper sligs are not much of a problem, because we have another crane, 3 crane levels in a row, where we can use to dispose them. Fortunately, that's the only thing the crane here is used for. Still, throwing them in the water is pretty funny. Just expecting my surroundings as a crane, see what else I can do. Not much, really. And after doing that, we can pull these 2 levers as Munch and be done with his most important part of the level. Despite the whole saving the puzzles part. That'll be at the end. Now, you may remember when I said that possession is a really important part of this game for me. At least for me, it could be different for someone else who plays this. And that's because, I'm gonna quick cut there because I possessed the wrong slig. Because when you possess the right thing, it could be far more valuable than what you may expect. For example, there's only 1 slig out of all of these groups of sligs that actually has a gun. Guess which slig I'm going to be possessing. It's kind of tucked away here. I actually screwed up the first time I possessed the wrong one, but no big deal. And now meet a proper introduction to the popper slig. As you can see, these guys can pretty much hold their own against any of the unarmed sligs. You can probably fight up to 3 or 4 at once and survive. Anything more than that and you'll be overwhelmed, really. Shooting's very easy. You basically just hold down the right control stick and aim where you want to. It's really easy and it's a lot better than just rapidly tapping your control stick into oblivion. And I find it to be a lot of fun. It's got this whole nice cinematic feel to it. And this is the weakest gun too, and if it can do this much damage, imagine what the stronger ones later in the game do. I like this angle right here. Can't even see where they're coming from, but I'm still holding my own very well. Here's where I do a mistake and shoot or aggravate up to 5 sligs at once. As you can see, it's really difficult to keep them up, and you'll eventually be backed into a corner like I am right here. When you're backed into a corner, there's really not much you can do. If I could go into like a circle, I could have probably taken them, but here it's game over. I was still able to take care of 1 slig, so take that what you will. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to do the rest the hard way. And really, you could have just, I don't know, bum rushed through the level with all your Mudokons. You could have just kept reviving the ones that died and hoped for the best. Or you could just do what I'm doing and taking it safe. It's really why I like this level and the several different ways you can approach it. I try my best not to bore the people that are watching this and have the Mudokons have their own fights. There's actually a mechanic here that I didn't make use of that's pretty important later in the levels, but it is shown off, so you'll see it eventually. Luckily, a bunch of these sligs are weakened thanks to my shooting buddy, so beating them up isn't really that tough. Here's the chance circle for the puzzles, showing off how far you have to go just to save them. I don't know why I tried possessing slugs here. I could have easily taken them on, but maybe I was paranoid at the moment. This was recorded about like a month or so ago, so I can't really tell you what I was thinking back then. And nice, with all the sligs down, we can finally gather up our puzzles. First off, get these levers here. Switch, whatever. I would open the door. Right, now we can get our puzzles. I don't think that was such a rough cut. The music even blended in pretty well. Now, here I am freaking out, thinking, why is my halo still, you know, edged? I saved all the puzzles, and from what I can see, none of the Mudokons died. Decided to investigate. I have the free Mudokons work on activating this teleportation circle area, and see if anyone actually died. And this shaman pops up. Completely forgot about him, but I'm just gonna explain what he was gonna say. So, none of the Mudokons died, so what happened? This level, it's not the first time this happened. This level has a glitch sometimes where it says, you've rescued everyone, no one's dead, but you still don't have perfect armor. This doesn't affect your ending. It's just annoying, but it can really trick you up. And this is the mechanic I mentioned earlier, which is upgrading your Mudokon units. Basically, you just have them stand in this rocky circle area, and if you spend 10 spoofs, they upgrade. I could have had a whole army of Tomahawkers following me, but I thought not really worth it, because then you'd have to grind more spoofs. Far more than I needed to, really. And that's really the end of the level. Next time we'll be going through the second slog hut, and our last one. Not as bad as the first one, it's actually a bit more fun in my opinion. And one more level after that, and then we'll finally be back at Raisin's Cave. This is Mitch Reichser, sorry for the delay, and I'll see you next time in Let's Play Oddworld Munch's Oddysee.